Hey, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for this conversation on the Policy Panchayat. Today we have Nawal Agarwal. He serves in a very interesting role actually with the Government of Punjab, a Chief Innovation Officer, if I'm not mistaken, Chief Governance Officer, right? And I have not come up. This is not a very standardized role in that sense, right? So something very unique, right? And the work that Nawal does, and the kind of responsibilities he has. Uh, why don't you introduce yourself, Nawal? And thank you so much for taking on that time.
Thank you so much, Yash, for having me. I work as Chief Governance Officer in the Government of Punjab. In addition to leading this program of PGGF, the Punjab Good Governance Fellowship, there are certain other aspects of governance that I look after. And briefly about my journey, I graduated from IIT Kharagpur, and then since then I've been in this broad domain of public policy development, governance
Right.
sector, worked with multiple states, and yeah, here I'm looking after this program.
In fact, there's so much to unpack, Naval, because I think earlier you were also involved with the Haryana Chief Minister Good Governance sort of a fellowship, and again, like a very stellar program, honestly, which has made a very sizable reputation for itself. But before we come to that, right, why don't you tell us more about like how did you discover public policy, right? And alongside that, if you can also tell us like how this shift from say engineering to this field.
Sure. No, so during my college days itself, I was clear that engineering is not something I would really want to do for whole of my life, and that's how we started. And there was no sectors called public policy existing in this shape and form, right? So we knew that broadly we wanted to work in this domain, this space of working with governments, making impact at scale, right? And we were, for me at least, I was also sure that I don't want to be part of the government, as in part
Yeah.
of the bureaucracy as such, because of the obvious constraints you have if you're working as a bureaucrat. So it was just a journey of exploration without knowing where we are heading. And so broadly, attended various conferences, workshops, did multiple internships during my engineering itself
Hmm.
in the with NGOs, with various government PSUs, organizations,
Okay.
departments, officer. And the major, I think, the transition was when I was working with Princeton University on the impact assessment of the Bharat Nirman program.
Okay.
So that's when I got to visit 10 states within a span of 3 months, collected a lot of data related to the rural development, infrastructure development that took place in UPA 1 and UPA 2. And
Okay.
that's when I got to interact with multiple senior bureaucrats from more than 10 states, had close and detailed interaction, understood what a government looks like from within. And that's how I transitioned into this.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And how have, and since you've been around for quite a while, Dhaval, right, in different roles in this broader space, how have you seen the space change and evolve, so to speak, right? In whatever time that you've been here, especially because, and I would love to hear your views because you've seen very different perspectives of, in a sense, being an outsider but an insider, right? So yeah.
That's right. Yeah. As I mentioned, during the years of 2013, 14, when I was joining this space, there was no clarity where I'm heading to, right? There was no formal space as such. There were not many fellowships. I think just LAM fellowship and the one started by the then Chief Minister of Gujarat, which was also not very successful and not much talked about. But I was always interested in exploring, so I basically started working at a constituency level to understand various branches of government, be it panchayat, sarpanch, be it ICDS, be it Anganwadi, then Asha workers. So started with interaction with these
Right.
these branches, and there was no formal space where you could directly enter into governance, right? And that's how the idea came up, and I started liking this domain. Then I joined an organization which was working closely with various the public representatives and then multiple state governments also, right? So that's how the transition was. there was not much clarity where I was heading to, but I was clear in my thoughts that I wanted to work with the government, but not being a part of the government, right? So I think the transition, it was not smooth journey or journey that I was clear for from day one, but in last 10 years especially, the domain has become so big and there are so many opportunities, and especially the government has now realized that the kind of value we as an outsider bring to them, right? I think it's a great time for people who are looking to move
Yeah.
into this domain to just get started, be it at a young level, a young age, or be it at maybe with 10, 15, 20 years of experience.
And if you can just add on that, now just expand on that, that well, as what you might have observed even in the Haryana government or Punjab or even otherwise, right? Where is it that non-IS officers, or let's just say, people not from the UPSC route or something, right, are working government, and how they're being hired, what kind of roles are they getting? I think it was just some overview.
Sure. No, so I think the people who are from outside come with a specific objective, with a specific mandate, really constrained much with their day-to-day duty, right? So, for example, a
Right.
deputy commissioner may have so many protocol duties, so many routine files to sign, and so much of routine work to do that
Yeah.
then you only have, say, 20 or 30% of your time to devote to the work that requires innovation, that requires thinking, that require processing of so many data, so much of information, right?
Right.
But when you are when you are outside the government and you are coming with a specific mandate, you have so much freedom, so much bandwidth to think on what are the innovative ideas, what are the innovations happening around the world on a specific problem statement, right?
Right.
So I think that's a good combination. So for example, if you're working with a deputy commissioner and you pair your
Hmm.
innovation thinking, new ideas with the authority and the decision making that is there with a, deputy commissioner, right? So I think
Right.
that's when the best of the solutions can go to ground, and I
Right.
think that's where we bring most of the value. Similarly, at state level also, when you are working with the administrative secretary or with the office of honorable chief minister, you can present the larger picture with a lot of thinking,
Yeah.
knowing what they want, which can then be quickly approved, and then you can lead the implementation. So I think the kind of value we as an outsider bring to the system is very important.
Right. Right. Coming to the fellowship itself now, right? The Punjab Good Governance Fellowship, right? PGGF. Tell us more about the program, right? And how is it structured, right? How it was conceived, right? What was the thought process behind setting something like this up?
Right. No, so this program has been there for almost 5 years now,
Right.
and people know very much about it. But let me still give a brief that people who are looking to one enter into this domain of broad public policy governance development, or had some kind of experience working with NGO or any other branches in public policy, whether it's academic research or you have done masters in public policy, public administration, etc. You can join us to work closely with government to implement the various ideas and lead various government schemes.
Okay.
That's on the side of the expectation of an applicant. And what
Hmm.
we as a government expect is that, as I mentioned, come with fresh, innovative ideas and help us expedite the solution, expedite the implementation of the overall objective, which has been given by the senior leadership. Yeah.
And
And the
how,
idea of fellowship, Hanji.
no, as in this building on what you were mentioning now, right? That in terms of delivering, say, better governance, right, to the people of Punjab, and what the leadership is set out. So how does it allow, say, young people to deliver on that, right? Help deliver better governance to the residents of Punjab, and like what was the inspiration behind creation of this fellowship?
Also, you would see that when you're working in a usual government setup, there is
Yeah.
always that because the bureaucracy has been trained in a specific way, there is always dearth of thinking and innovation, right? Because
Mhm.
you have so many other responsibilities. You are trained in a specific way. You are trained in a specific circumstances.
Yeah.
So you always have that need of having people come from outside and contribute to the development journey of the governance and development that a state is having, right? So, for example, if someone is coming from Rajasthan or someone is coming from, let's say, Bangalore, who has seen how you can, transform the public transport system, right?
Yeah.
Why can't we have that talent as part of the Punjab governance, the Punjab overall good governance journey, and
Right.
transform this space, right?
Yeah.
That's a specific experience that you are bringing. But
Right.
otherwise, also, if a youth, if a young person is passionate about a specific impact area or bringing impact in the governance ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
You can always contribute so much learning from what is happening around the world and around the country, right?
So for PGGF Naval, if you can tell us that, who might be the ideal candidates to apply for the fellowship program, right? And who might be like the best fit, the kind of people that we're looking for.
Right. No, so in PGGF, what we broadly look for is you should be one passionate about working with government, right? So passion is very critical because there will be time where you have to put a lot of hard work. Uh, you would be say working for 12 hours in a day also given the tight timeline or the important event that is coming
Right.
up, right? So without passion, you just cannot do with it, right? So that's one. Second, there should be authentic and genuine interest that we should see from your past experience, right? It can be a small internship also, right? But you should be able to showcase your interest in of working in this domain through your past experience, whether it's a workshop or certification course or something else, right?
Right.
And then we check on basic other capabilities, whether it's a documentation capabilities, whether your broad academic the performance, right? And your journey, right? So overall, I would say the we also check whether it's a good fit for you or not. You may be an intelligent person, but if we see that this program doesn't fit for you overall in your journey, we do not take you, right? As simple as that.
Makes sense.
So it
Right.
should be a good fit for government as well as candidate, and then that's when you make it for the program.
And what do people usually do after the PGGF, right, in terms of opportunities and, the career trajectory that we noticed over the last 5 years?
Right. No, so now we have a lot of new opportunities coming up in this broad domain, right? So we have
Right.
people going for civil services. We have people going for many of the multilateral organization, UN, World Bank, right? And then we have people also going to various government consulting firms.
Right.
We also have people going to the corporate general corporate world, right? People going for various courses and public policy in MBA also. So what we have seen is there is no bar or there is no one direction where the alumni are heading to,
Right.
but broadly what we have realized is the kind of experience that they gain from here, right? The kind of network that you are able to build in the fellowship is useful wherever you are heading to.
No, makes sense.
That's my
But
experience.
even within that novel, have you seen, say, some very common, say, 4 or 5 things that you see are the most commonly taken up by fellows after the fellowship?
Right. So those are the domains that I mentioned. It's the consulting firms that work closely with
Okay.
government, then various multilateral organizations,
Hmm.
and then people are going for higher studies, and then people are preparing for civil services.
Got
These
it.
are the four broad domains I would categorize. Yeah.
And why this was interesting now because I think if I'm not wrong, after the CMGGF, right, in Haryana, a lot of people are actually absorbed by the Haryana government itself, right, by the state administration and different policy roles. And that to me was just very fascinating. Like that just made so much sense that, you already work in the state system for a year and, you can just take on a full-time role in that sense. So, no, totally adds up. Can you tell us more about the Punjab Development Commission, Naval, right? And how, say,
Right.
like what was the idea behind creating this, right? And how does it, in a sense,
So
by
Punjab Development, sure. It's a you can think of it as a Niti Aayog for the state. It's a think tank set up by Punjab government to recommend where various ideas in specific set of domains that we have identified, right? So it's a mini think tank of Punjab government where we do a lot of intensive research on the priority domains for the state
right,
government. Yeah. And the kind of opportunities we have is at all levels, starting from junior research officers to senior advisors, right? So, based on the number of years of experience and the kind of experience you have in this domain, you can apply for any of these positions. We also have well-paying positions that compensate well, given the usual compensation given by the government, right? So I would strongly urge all the viewers to look for various potential roles for you in the Punjab Development Commission as well.
in fact, what we'll do is in the show notes, we'll just try and link the website for PDC where people can maybe go and directly apply, or you can just search. It's very easily available online. But what are the sectors that PDC focuses on, Naval, right?
Right. No, so there are sectors that we have defined to begin with, the priority areas of government, including
Yeah.
health, education, investment opportunities, right? But these sectors would keep changing. The idea is not to have sector specific expertise, right? I
Mhm.
mean, we would try to pair you with a specific sector to begin with,
Right.
but the idea is to have people who are generally passionate about working with government and have some kind of relevant experience to be able to contribute to the government. Although for now we have listed a set of the areas, right? And that you will find easily on the website that we will link in the comments. Yeah.
Couple of things on that, Naval, actually. One, could you tell me, like what should a person expect as a day to day, right? If and if they decide to join the commission, whatever role, right? I think that will also give us an insight in terms of again the whole, an outsider working in the government, right? What that was a day to day probably look like. Of course, there's no specific sort of a thing or the same sort of an outline for everyone.
Mm.
And the other bit being that could you also tell us some success stories, right, in terms of some of the areas that PDC might have worked on, and we might have seen really great outcome from that.
Certainly. No, to answer your first question, I think the best part of this job is your day-to-day role is not defined, right? So you are given a vision and an objective, and you define your own role and how you want to do it on a day-to-day basis, right? But to give you a broad idea, you would be supported by a team who who will, let's say, when an idea is a design phase, you would be doing surveys of what kind of intervention is required, and then you design the intervention. You get it approved through various stages and steps of the government, right? Whether it requires an approval by the Council of Ministers, or is it an approval by the administrative secretary. You get all of those approved, and you do the relevant implementation kickoff, whether it requires a request for proposal, or whether it
Yeah.
requires the usual government body to just move with specific mandates, and then you broadly monitor the implementation as well as the outcome indicators, right? So depending on the stage of the implementation of a
Yeah.
specific the program, you might be doing one of these, or in parallel doing multiple steps of multiple programs, right? So I think that does that give you an idea?
Yeah, no, fair enough. In a sense that you have a blank canvas, so to speak, but then you have end outcomes in mind, and then you try and figure out how you can achieve that within the set system that you have to work with.
Correct, correct, correct. Yeah.
And if you could also tell us about some of the success stories, Nawal, from PBC that you might have seen.
Sure. So the Punjab Development Commission was recently formed actually in the
Okay.
month of November.
Okay.
So yeah. There are a lot of ideas, but still in advanced stage of being considered by the government. But the Punjab Development Commission has positively contributed to various existing government schemes, such as the Aam Aadmi Clinic scheme, or whether it is Muft Ration delivery, etc. Yeah,
And in fact, what I've noticed now is that a lot of, I mean, states in general are starting to have, like, like a think tank of their own, wherein, yes, policy making happens by bureaucrats in the government, but, like setting up an independent center within the government, but not technically within a particular ministry, right? So that they can get outside expertise and fresh perspective, right, on different governance challenges and try to figure that out, while also giving a platform for young people to work at. So, because I think Uttarakhand also has
correct,
such a think tank with a different name of, I've seen a lot of states do this. So just fascinating in that sense.
correct.
The final question, Naval, that given your long and very successful career journey, any advice or insights or perspectives you want to give to anyone, like who wishes to build a career in public policy in India right now?
Right. No, I would give strong advice that first you need to identify whether this interest is a genuine interest which you feel will sustain for long, or is it just out of some the PR that you are seeing happening around the people who are working in this domain, right? So I think if you want to check it for yourself, you can just take an experience out of some 2 3 months internship, or
Yeah.
just working helping any of the government officers, or any of the government bodies. Start with part time, explore, give your best, right? And then gradually, it will take maybe 2 3 years to know whether you really want to do it, and are you a good fit or not, and then maybe build a whole career out of it, right? So it's not an easy identification. The identification of this problem statement is not easy, but once you are into it, I think there is a lot you can do there. There is no dearth of opportunities in this domain now. All the governments, including the political leadership, the bureaucrats, do value the kind of contribution the outsiders are making, and there is still a lot that needs to be done. So don't think that there is any lack of opportunity. But if you are genuinely interested, start exploring. It doesn't matter where you start it, right? Whether it's a internship, part-time work, fellowship, right? But just get started, and I'm sure you will find your own destination in this broad domain. That's my two-bit advice.
And I'm sorry, Naval, just one last thing I'll again have to add, because we had asked our audience members of any question they want to ask you. And like one of the most common one was that while the rules and entry criteria and everything is very clearly defined on the website for PGGF, right, the Good Governance Fellowship, any tips or insights or perspectives you can give for the applicants who are looking to apply right now, that hey, do focus on these 3 or 4 things while applying, will help better your chances.
Sure. No, so if I look at it from my perspective, my as in the government's perspective, what we are really looking for is an authentic and genuine interest, right? Now, if you can showcase this using some of your past experiences, if you can showcase this using the kind of work, it can be small, but the kind of contribution you have made, right? That would be really helpful. And to do give it a lot of thinking before you fill the application form, right? We have also kept a problem statement for you. So spend most of your time thinking on what are the various possible solutions. Talk to people who are expert in this domain,
Right.
right? And your answer need not be very fancy, but it should be practical one that can quickly be taken by the government of Punjab, right? So do showcase that you have done a lot of research, a lot of efforts into writing the answer, and I think that's it. There's not much required. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking out the time, Naval. This has been really helpful, and I'm sure that our audiences will find a ton of value in this. Those who are looking to apply this year and even next year, this will stay on our YouTube, right? So people can just come and watch and
Right.
watch. Thank you again for taking out the time, and it's been a pleasure having you here.
Thank you. Yes, it was nice doing this session, and I'm sure I'm hoping a lot of people apply to this.
And for all our viewers, do let us know in comments if there are any other questions that that we can help out with, or someone else we should get as a guest. And thank you for joining in another conversation of the Policy Panchayat. Take care.